Hey guys, what's up? I'm here with a review of an Austrian fantasy psychological horror drama film from 2015. It's actually it was made in 2014. It was released at a few festivals, and it's being released in America in 2015, so I'm going to go ahead and say it's a film from 2015. And tonight's movie is, and please don't hate me if I mispronounce the original title of this film. I believe it's Ixe, which translated to English means I see. But the American and or like English title for the film is Goodnight, Mommy. Now this movie, before I even get into the plot or anything, I should go ahead and say right now, I'm going to after I talk about the acting and writing and all that, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna dive into some spoilers, like some major spoilers. So if you don't want me to ruin this film, and this is one of those films much like The Skin I Live In, which is one of those films that is it's a very interesting film, and it's definitely one that, like, the less you know about it going into it, the better experience the film will be overall, and the more engaging and interesting the film will be. So basically, this movie is about two twin brothers, and they are waiting at home for their mother to return after she gets surgery. And after she gets out of surgery and goes home, she has bandages on her face. These bandages are covering her face, and the two brothers start to believe that because the way that their mother's acting differently, it has to do with the fact that the woman is not actually their mother but an imposter. Now, if this movie already sounds interesting to you and you want to go check it out, well, by all means, go check it out. If you're not interested and you're okay with me spoiling it, well, then let me get through the actual review part and then I'll talk about spoilers. So the acting in this film is pretty good. Same with the writing. It's very solid. The camera work is probably one of the best things in the film overall. The camera work, the effects, and the atmosphere and tension of the film. It has a lot of tension, a lot of atmosphere. It's a pretty creepy movie. Not scary, but very creepy, very unsettling. And there's a very distinct lack of music in the film, which really helps set the kind of overall bleak and empty tone of the film. There's the characters in the movie are kind of flat, and that is kind of a problem. And the movie does have some pacing issues. Like, if you're looking for a film that's gonna be fast paced and keep you entertained and interested the entire time, then you might want to find something else, because this film is very slow, and it doesn't get to the point that it gets interesting until you're maybe about 50 minutes into the movie. And this is a movie that's only like an hour and 40 minutes long, so really you're going through basically half of the film, almost half of the film for the other half of it. It's kind of not fair. Although I will admit, even though the movie is very slow and a little boring, it still kept me interested, and I felt like there was a certain point in time where I felt like, man, I'm only like 20 minutes into this movie, and then I checked how far I was in, and I was already like 40 minutes. I was already like 40 or 50 minutes into the movie, which is awesome. I mean, because it went by so fast, and then it just started to get really interesting. And the film is still interesting, and as I said before, it's very well shot, very nice to look at. I would call it like the 2001 Space Odyssey of like horror films, because it's very well shot and nice to look at, but it's also kind of boring. So, the effects. The effects in this movie, there's mostly makeup effects. Makeup effects look nice. The lighting's very nice. The camera work, as I said, is nice. The atmosphere, tension, all that's nice. There's a little bit of music here and there, and the music is also very, very nice. I already talked about, I think, everything that I need to talk about. So, I should just do the gore meter and then get on with it. On the gore meter from 1 to 10, 1 being something like Nosferatu and 10 being something like Brain Dead, Goodnight Mommy is probably about a 3. It really isn't that bad, and I didn't expect it to be because I heard it was a very, very kind of psychological, very creepy kind of thriller slash horror drama fantasy movie. It's really it's a little out there. It's a little artsy. So yeah. Now we're gonna get into the spoilers. So you might want to stop watching if you really want to watch and enjoy this movie. So this is one of those movies that has a few twists to it. And there are a lot of films out there that have twists to them that are absolutely amazing. Fight Club, Memento, The Skin I Live In, Old Boy, Sympathy for Lady Vengeance, Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance. Like, there are a lot of movies out there that have really cool twists to them, and a lot of horror films out there that have a really cool, really interesting, and really surprising twists as well. So, with there being so many films, I mean, tons and tons of movies that have twists, there are quite a few twists that have been done a lot. And there were a few things that I expected to happen in this movie. There were a few things that I expected to kind of happen that I thought were possibilities of how the movie would kind of play out or end. The first possibility is that it would turn out that it really was their mother and they would just live happily ever after. The second one would be that it turns out that it really wasn't their mother and it was some kind of shape-shifting demon or some kind of like monster that lures children to their deaths or something creepy like that, which that did not happen, which that's actually a pretty interesting thing. There was the possibility that I thought of where it was their mother and they decide to interrogate her and kind of torture her, and then there is the possibility that their mother is actually dead and that this person is actually they're actually both delusional, and this person is actually like their stepmother or their caretaker or something like that. The other twist I expected was I expected them to take a page from, and I'm gonna spoil another film, so if you don't want me to spoil A Tale of... So okay, so if you don't want me to ruin A Tale of Two Sisters, which is an absolutely amazing Korean like drama fantasy horror film. If you don't want me to ruin that film, which that film is absolutely amazing, and it's another one of those films that the less you know going in, the better. Then if you don't want me to ruin that movie, you might want to stop now as well. I expect it to take a page from A Tale of Two Sisters and make it to where one of the siblings actually died, and that one of them was delusional and thought that like this. And thought that their brother was still alive, and thought that this woman was actually like the person who killed their. Is actually not their mother, and it's the person who is responsible for the death of the brother. Now, which one of these was right? I'll tell you right now which one of these was right. It was that it turned out to be their mother, and they tortured and interrogated her, and it was the Tale of Two Sisters twist, where it turns out one of them was dead the whole time. Now, I'll be 100% honest, and out of all the possibilities, I expected those two to be the least likely, and around halfway through, like at a certain point in the movie, I started thinking of possibilities for what would happen at the end. And and it slowly got to the point where I started, slowly eliminating each one, and those two twists were the first two that I eliminated. Those were the least those were the least likely things that I expected from the film. So the film genuinely surprised me in that aspect. Now, overall, could I recommend the film? I mean, maybe. If you are a bit of a film buff and you like well-shot movies that are well-acted and well put together and genuinely creepy, then yes, I could most definitely recommend this to you. If you're looking for something a bit less kind of weird and surreal and artsy and, dare I say, pretentious, and something a bit more in the vein of, like, just like non-stop, shit going on, like horror movies, then watch watch the American remake of The Ring, I guess, because that one, I guess, was like that. I don't know. I haven't watched that movie since it came out, and it sucked the first time around, so. But still, overall, I still really liked the movie. I wouldn't say it's a masterpiece. I mean, I know there's some critic out there that's saying that this movie is like The Shining for the next generation. And I wouldn't say that, but I would definitely say it's a very good, powerful, interesting, fun, well, not fun, but I guess kind of entertaining little slice of, like, fantasy psychological horror, in the vein of something like A Tale of Two Sisters. But again, if we're comparing, like, this film to A Tale of Two Sisters or The Skin I Live In, though, I mean, The Skin I Live In is far superior to A Tale of Two Sisters. A Tale of Two Sisters is far superior to this film, but this film is far superior to something else that tries to do a twist and trick you like High Tension. And I will admit, even though the twist in High Tension did surprise me and trick me, I still don't think it's super clever, but I still absolutely love High Tension. So, all in all, I would probably have to give this film a 9 out of 10. The only reason I'm giving it a 9 out of 10 is because even though I knew what was going to happen, it still found a way to surprise me, much like A Tale of Two Sisters did. So I can't give it a bad rating, and I can't give it a bad rating because it was slow, because that's the filmmaker's choice, and I really like slow burn horror films that really, really build the tension and make you feel uneasy. So, yeah, it's a really good film. Check it out. Now, you might be wondering, this film hasn't actually come out in the US yet. It hasn't had a theatrical or DVD release in the US. So you might be wondering how I watched it. Well, it's not getting released until September 11th in theaters. Now, as soon as it gets released, I'm most definitely going to, or at least I'm going to try, because I do have a broken foot after all. I'm gonna at least try to go out and get to a theater that has the film, or that's showing the film, and try to see it, because I think this would be a really good, like, film to see in theaters. And I really want to give money to the directors and the writers of the film as well. So I actually caught the film on YouTube. Like, it was taken down like 20 minutes after I grabbed it. Like, I grabbed it off YouTube real fast because I saw it was on there. So yeah, I got it off YouTube, and I'm not happy to say that I watched this film for free and I stole from the directors and writers, because they genuinely deserve the money for this film. But I'm definitely gonna buy the movie when it comes out on DVD, or I'm going to go see it in theaters. So anyway, guys, I'm BiscuitBoo69, signing off. Peace. So anyway, guys, if you liked the video, like my channel, be sure to like this video, favorite it, whatever you want, and maybe subscribe perhaps. I would really, really appreciate that. And check the links in the description below. There are links to things like my Tumblr, Twitter, all that, Facebook. All that is in the description below. Hey there, kids. Do you want to get cool stuff in the mail like this? Or this? Or even this? Well, then subscribe to Horror Block today. Have you ever wanted to do cool cosplays like this, or even this? Well, now you can. Subscribe to Moonchild Cosplay on YouTube, and you can see all her tutorials on how to do cool stuff like this. Do you want to get cool horror and exploitation film t-shirts like this? Or this? Or this? Well, then go to RottenCotton.com to check out all of their premium t-shirts.